Hi, today I'm doing stage 1 cleaning of the Rebel G17 tumbler. It's a 14-pound tumbler. This is the first stage again, so I gotta pull off pull these off. Some screws. Shouldn't be any air pressure buildup, but I usually don't like to undo it all. Just get a little bit. That's fine. If you happen to be doing obsidian, that could be a problem because it builds up gas, and you gotta open it up every once in a while and don't leave the pressure, or you could have a mess in it. I did like one little small rocket, which wasn't a problem. I didn't have to worry about it, but if you did a bunch of it, it could be a problem. I'm sticking those in my pocket for now. Can you see this? I don't know if I can even see this. Got the thing in the way, but need some water. Doing it preliminary outside, and then well, it'll probably be done, so done rinsed it up there. I don't have to worry about inside because it's first stage anyway, so if I had lost going into the second stage, I'll soak them and rinse them real good. Clear most of that up. I don't know why there was some in there, but don't. Set that to the side. Should have brought another bucket out, but I guess I'll just I'm not gonna just like dump it in here because some of these rocks are big. Now the bean, I should see if it's good enough or not. I don't know if that is going to keep on going, cracking. I think I might run it another time, but that definitely has to be done there. Wow, that's cool. This one's got like a unicag. It's got green and beige and black glaze. Yeah. Some of them you can see right off of there. I'm not gonna pass the first stage. It's got a little imperfection here on this tip here, so I'm gonna rerun that one. Yeah, this is kind of good. And it was like that brown there. I should have left it be. Now it's kind of chipped up. I'm gonna have to let it run through again. Right. This one's kind of stuck in here. Good. The big one. We'll see in a second. Yeah. I'm gonna go more to. This may take a while. Let's get some big holes and stuff in there before it's gonna wear down. But it's coming along a little bit. Alright. Let's see. Alright. Hopefully I would do this lately in the house, but summertime I could do right outside. These plants out here are just weeds, so I'm not worried about it. Alright, so for a couple of big ones. 7, 6. I think it's coming along with it, and all of a sudden it's like a big hole in it. And I don't know. Run it a little while longer and see what happens, but here's a piece of rose quartz, but there's that section there that needs to get smooth. Alright. I'm gonna grab another chair. Actually, I can stick it over here, I guess. This is almost there. It's rose quartz here, but it's just a little spot here. That'll be a nice big piece when it gets out. Maybe a little bit there. Anyways, hopefully you could have seen these ones. Nope. Looking nice, but right there. We're done. Not quite. Nope. Tiny one. A tiny imperfection there, but we can run that through. This one is really cool. It's like a peachy. It's ready. This one's got different types of colors in it. Doesn't look like much now, but it should shine up nice. Not ready. Should be interesting at some point when it's ready. Nope, not ready. Perfection there. This one's almost getting closer, but there's stuff here I can feel it. And right there. And that one, oh, it's like the other one. That one's got way more because it's got that chipped off. Nope. But it's got, where is it? What I felt something. Oh, right there. Now here's another example of I think this one's sort of a little tiny bit of roughness there, but I think I'm going to pass with this too. Alright, these were both supposed to tree agates, but the green tree agates. One's like you can see through it, bro. So it's just weird. Almost seems like a moss agate. This agate here I've had for tumbling for probably almost from the beginning, like year and a half, and it hasn't shrunk a world ton, but it just has that one little imperfection right there, and it is almost gone. But taking forever. Alright. Nope. Reject. Little piece there, I'll pass on. Yeah, you'd put different sized stones in there so it can help with the grinding along with the grit. Alright. Rejected. It's like a lima bean or something. One more time. I think that's a gear. There's another tree agate. I think it had a little tiny thing there. No, I can't tell. And on that top edge, I should just pass it on. I'll run it one more time. So, this little carnelian. It's shrunk up quite a bit, but rejected. Past that. Tiny piece of rose quartz. I got big ones and some medium-sized ones. Go on that one more time. Alright, so This is all from that. So I was going to put that back in. It's going through the first stage anyway, so. Right here's my sticker board. It's hot out today. Breathing hard, but. Alright, and well, I'll go through that at another point. But here, I'm going to add more rocks. And then I've got the different media. Alright, so I usually buy it by the 10 pounds because I'm doing a lot. The number one grit is what you're going to use the most. Now this was the 80-20, I believe. A 60-90. So, I was just saying. But anyway, 60-90. And I'm going to finish that up. Just add it. It won't matter. But and then I got this, it's the 60 grit. I'm going to be more aggressive. Maybe if I go back to softer rocks in the future, or either that, I just don't tumble it as long. But we'll see what that does. So, got some rocks here. Where are the other ones? Alright, found them. So, first I'll put this bigger one in. And then the rest will be small. Not too many, but that big one's got to have enough room to move around. But, add an assortment of ones. Oh, that one went flying. Actually, I don't know, that might have been media. I'm not sure what that was. The ceramic media. I mean, there's some air gaps in there, so I'm not worried too much. But that might even break apart, but whatever. Alright, that's probably enough. Set these aside. Yeah, I went down a little bit, but I wouldn't go any more than that. That's kind of almost too much, but I think it'll be alright. So, anyways, put this aside for 1 second. So, gotta soak them in some warm water. That was the stuff I passed by. Let me rinse my hand, make sure I didn't grab any grit. And these ones I already have set, ready to go for a second stage. 4-pounder tumbler that I have. So I'm just going to add those to that. Set this other thing to the side. I usually keep this cover on it just to keep them from evaporating the water and keep it moist. I think that's enough for another tumble, so I'll be ready for the next one, even if this one is not going to be ready. I think it'll be my other one. I think Sunday I'll do that one, and then I'll do it in a week. Once I get through the first stage, and I kind of go back to a week. But this stage, I run it for. Now I'm running it for 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks. It seems to be a lot better. If I run it for 10 days, I may still have some grit in there, and it may not be as good as it could be. And all right, well, this is kind of a mess. Sometimes these bags, you get them, and I'm assuming that's close to maybe a little over, and I'll just do one. I'll put 2 cups worth in. I wonder if it would be easier just for me to poke a hole in the thing. Might be. Alright, let's try this. This was on the outside of the bag. Like I said, it's like sometimes you get the holes and the holes are in the top, so some of it leaked out. It's like, might have been better off not even having it in the bag. Yeah, you don't want this grit on. It's like it's on my counter now. I'm gonna have to get it off. I don't want it down the drain. But since I'm running it for 2 weeks to 4 extra days, put a little extra grit in there. It's not going to hurt it. It may help it actually. But don't want to waste it. It's expensive. Now, you can do it cheaper as you're going through the stages. If you finish the first stage and you can use a vibratory tumbler, which I do have. I have 4 of them. And they cut the time in half, and you can use half as much as the grit too. The problem is, the types I have, they would only do like smaller rocks, like that size, but not really bigger than that. So, kind of forced to use this. I mean, there is tumblers that vibratories that don't have the inner cone, like a cake cone thing. So it's only about that big and it's got a cone in the middle. But they have some there without it. But the problem is that the motors go on a lot and they vibrate a lot. So you have to have them in a good secure spot. And they usually secure them to cinder blocks. And I don't have that option. I'm living up in the top of this old barn. This is my apartment, my home. So I gotta try to keep the noise down somewhat. My mom was living downstairs, but she's back in the main house right now. But keep her in the bathroom. It'll work fine. Right. Because now this is like gritty. It's not gonna come off because it's wet. Messes. Yeah, I mean, you'll have issues. It's not like, oh, just put it on there real simple, easy, and it takes longer than most people will admit. You know, they give you a kit when you buy a little kit, and you might spend, you put it in for a week, and you run it through, and if you just run it once to the first stage and run it through the cycles, it's not going to be, you're not going to get the rocks probably high quality. Oh, I can tell there's already a mess. Just spilt out. Now this one doesn't have a bag in it. It's all over my counter now. Maybe I'll just let it dry and I can scoop it back up. Alright, now this one came with a baby scoop. Some of them you get a little shovel. Just don't want to cross-contaminate this stuff. So I usually have scoop for different ones. So when you go afterwards, I'm going to the 4-pounder, and you're not using as much. It's you get a little bit good like this at the 122/40, and then you go to the 500, and it's more of a powder. It's like a gray powder, and then it goes to a finer powder, and then it's down to like a white powder, very fine. Alright, I'm not going to fill this totally up. But usually I use, for this one, it's like 2 scoops. So it's a cup. It's like a tablespoon per usually, but this is what I've been using for this. So when I'm using the other ones, it's just like a tablespoon. Alright, I'll just leave this in here. Made a mess though. Shoot. Alright. I'm just gonna have to do something here. I don't like grind it into my counter, so that stuff there wasn't bad. It was too bad, anyways. Already dried it out. So I'll just take my bucket and put it over my trash bucket. Try to put any of the grit that's on the outside. Get it off. I don't drag it around the house. Alright. Don't want to forget something. Alright. It's important I don't have it on the seals. It's a good thing it's dry. I can see some here, but I'll get that afterwards. I'll shake it. So, borax soap. You can get that right at the grocery store. And I'll just put, this is like a tablespoon, I guess. Tablespoon. That says teaspoon. Anyways, I put about 14 of them in here. Don't have to be exact. Should have a separate cup for this, but I don't know. Sometimes if I just do it by the teaspoons, it's not as messy. Alright, so that is going to be, it does cleaning, but this is not really a cleaning cycle. It's more, it helps make it into a slurry, you grit. That's that gray you saw earlier when I dumped it out. Now I'm going to add cool water. And I want to make sure I add enough water that I can see it. If you don't add water, you're going to have a nightmare on you. It'll get all caked up. So man, if you don't have too much water, I mean, if you put like a quarter full of water, you'll have problems too. It'll cake up. And then you'll have a major mess on your hands trying to clean it up, because it'll be like clay stuck to it, like really hard. So you kind of like just pour it over, let it go down, not to splash it up so I don't get, and I can feel some grit. Some of it might have bounced up. Alright. Good for that there. Let's see, I don't know if you can see the water, but it's just below the rocks there. Alright. I just gotta dry the seal a little bit. I guess it doesn't have to be perfect, but you got a spare one. But I've had this one it's over a year now, so just pretty decent tumbler. Simple and pretty durable. Alright. Do that, because it doesn't matter. I've swapped them around scrape them. Alrighty. Line up the holes like so. Alright, now those locking nuts, I'm gonna just put them on loose. When you tighten them, you're going to do opposites. You know, just hand tighten them as much as you can. Unless you're a superhero and you tighten them too tight. Just getting good and snug. Sometimes I push down a little bit on the gasket to help a little bit. Going to the opposite. Okay. Now it's rough on my hands. Let's give it a little extra slickness. This one I've never had it leak. The other one I've had, it's a different type of cover. And I must have not just had the cover on it. It's a little trickier. In balance of maybe the rocks too. Alright. So if I don't get any. Doesn't look like there's any grit there. But there may be some on the bottom edge here. So here's my setup in the bathroom. It's the tumbler here for the 15-pounder. These knobbed nut ends will be on that end. This one's got a switch. You can hear this one's not too bad. It's too loud. It's different. So that's a 4-pounder, a lower tone. Extreme Tumbler Rebel 17. This here. Okay. Just line that right. So it's got grooves. Not on this one, but here. So these parts have the lip here. They will be right on it. Just give it a little move back and forth. Make sure it's right. When it on level ground, it's got level legs on it. And then I just turn it on. So exciting. So, it's not too bad. Yeah, sometimes I'll hear it at night. Usually the first day or two, you might hear a little bit more than then it starts getting quieter. The material breaks down and gets cushioned by the slurry. Then once I close my bathroom door, you won't even hear it. Oh well, you hear it, but not that much. Especially over the AC. Okay, well that concludes that for now. I gotta clean up a little bit. And I've done some other ones. We'll see how this goes. I don't know which one I'm going to get out first, but it's just an ongoing process that keeps on happening. So you may see one before or afterwards, and you may see some different ones where there's the different stages. So I think I have 5 different stages. This first stage, well, I just put the 60 grit in. Then I do the 120 240 grit, 500 grit, stage 3, stage 4, 1000 grit, stage 5, the polish. And of course, if you really want to even polish more, you can go to another stage, or you could even polish it by hand. So, all right, well, that concludes this for now. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.